Welcome to day 3, the final installment of the Deep Three's first ever Zoomcast. We're still with JB, John Bryan, and DJ Dwayne Jones, as those who know them best love to call them. This one's going to touch your heart, I think, if you're a Hawk Hill Hoops fan and you remember these guys and just listening to their passion as they speak about those great teams that they played on, the assistant coaches that have meant so much to them. And then finally, they're going to talk a lot about their careers just on Hawk Hill, the university as a whole, and what it has meant for their lives, and then a little bit of connection afterwards. Enjoy this. This is going to be a great way to wrap up your week. I hope everyone has a wonderful, healthy, safe, and happy weekend. The Hawk will never die. Take care. So I love this. Is one of my favorite photos. I love this. This is going to actually go up. We're getting our locker room redone, and I really want our players in the hallway when they enter every day to understand what an incredible brotherhood they are part of. I mean, the story, we talk about it all the time. We talk about the program being a story, right? It's bigger than any one individual or any one team. It's about all these guys. And I want to, like, everybody talks about dunks and block shots and threes, and all that's important to see those photos. But these are the memories. And you know, JB, you know, as we go back now, think about all the things you just talked about between your playing career to your coaching career to your Olympic career. You know, when people are young and they're playing, the reasons they think they're winning sometimes are not really what it really is, right? So now you take your experience that you've had, and now you look back and you think a little bit, okay, this is why we were so good during that run. And you didn't just play on one great team, you know. The year before, you guys were awesome. So you were on a few really, really good teams. Talk to me now about, like, when you look back, you know, what this picture means to you, what that group meant to you, and why now you can say, this is why we were so good.
Yeah, this is a special picture. Not only because it looks like we're having fun and it looks like we probably are winning, but it just reminds me of what you were saying, like kind of the brotherhood we had with that team. And like it extends past just us liking each other, but it extends with we had each other's back. Our coaching staff, our practices were so intense. You know, we practiced like we played, and it was a reflection of why we were so good.
Yeah.
And we competed so hard against one another, and like everyone knew that we had each other. You know, we were all competing for the same goal.
Yeah, that's great. You could feel that edge when people would prepare for you. I mean, Deej, speak to that same. I mean, think about it, you know, you played with LeBron, you played with Steph, you played in multiple countries, you've been on the Celtics, you've been in an NBA Finals. You know, you're now coaching. I mean, both you guys are coaching one of the best teams in the league with the best players. You know, same thing. I mean, first off, I love the sneaker game. You guys are great. JB, your calves are gigantic. You know, and I could tell you guys were really into Larry's at that time. That was probably not a great look for a pre or post game meal, but I'm sure it worked. If that's what it takes to be undefeated, we're all in. Forget this nutrition kick. We're all in. But Deej, same thing. Like, speak to what, you know, as you look back now, you know, you had a very long playing career, a lot of different coaches, a lot of different teams, a lot of great players. You know, what are the reasons as you look back on your run at St. Joe's, and you guys were good even the year after the undefeated season? What comes to light for you now with the lens that you can give with this experience that you have had?
I think kind of thinking about like our team back then. I think I just kind of I think about the accountability that we all kind of held each other to. Like yeah, like our coaching staff was always on us, but I feel like we were always on each other, and we respected and cared about each other enough to always view it as we're just trying to help each other out. I looked at it like that, whether it was JB telling me this or Jameer telling me that. It always was coming from the right place, and I think everybody kind of held each other to a certain standard. And the worst thing you wanted to do was let your teammate down.
That's awesome. I mean, I can't wait to play this for our guys. I mean, and this is true. I mean, we all know it to be true. The longer we get away from things, the more simpler we understand things to be. And that's it. And it takes, you have to really, you know, I talk to our guys all the time. Like, we use the word elevate a lot in our program. And yes, it means encourage, but it also means to call each other up to the standards and the level of accountability that you expect from one another. And you have to be vulnerable. You have to trust. You have to be willing to say something knowing it's better for your teammate to hear that than try to hide it and not worry about if they're going to be mad at you. And to hear you guys talking about that stuff is critical. That any great family team organization, they have that.
Plus also, BL, sorry, we all know our roles. Like, that's kind of the biggest thing as well. Like, we all knew our roles. DJ, I mean, and it's just, you know, how great Delonte and Jameer were. Yeah. But, like, there were important roles that Pat had to play, that Tyrone Barley had to play, that Dwayne Lee, and, you know, DJ and I did our thing. But, like, everyone had a specific role, and everyone did it to the fullest ability.
Yeah, I mean, and it's, you know, a segueing that into obviously the coaching has to be great because you have to have relationships with people to buy in. And you know, and Coach Martelli, just an amazing communicator. And you could feel that when you guys play, you could see it on TV. You knew it when you were playing against, like, it was obvious that you had two superstars. I mean, two guys that had incredible NBA careers, but the energy was seamless on the floor. It wasn't like you could just plan for one guy. And that is true. You know, it's funny that, you know, you talk about the coaching. Like, I've often thought this in a college coaching realm. The head coach gets way too much credit for everything. I mean, the assistants are unbelievable. I mean, truly, the job that my staff has been doing during this time, really, I can't say enough about what they have done. I mean, you really think about your life right now in the Sixers world. I mean, it's like, you know, if you don't have any special projects, it's like shut down, right? You've got a business, you've got a front office. You know, right now our assistants are planning academics. They are working on uniforms. They're working on travel. They're recruiting. They're staying up with our players, and they're doing the basketball. I mean, it takes a lot of work. And you had a great group. You know, first off, I love the picture. It looks like, JB, you're the last one out. You're rocking Air Force Ones. I think it's tremendous. Sneaker game's on point. DJ staying consistent with his Jordans. But, you know, you can see you got Mark Bass, former player, former great Hawk. You got Monte Ross, went on to be a head coach. You know, sitting down is Matt Brady. You know, Matt and I went to the same grade school. I don't know Matt. Matt was like the Steve Nash of basketball. If they didn't have set plays and two bigs on each block, I think Matt Brady could have been a pro. You take Matt Brady and put him in today's realm, in today's basketball, I think he could have been an NBA player. He was phenomenal. Every kid in Haddon Heights, New Jersey, every kid at St. Rose wanted to be Matt Brady, and these were your assistants. So speak a little bit about, you know, your relationship with them, what you remember from them. DJ, we'll start with you. Talk a little bit about your assistant coaching relationships with these guys.
Yeah, I mean, they were all unique, and they were all great. You know, I think, you know, the job of getting, I mean, I'm sure you can speak on this a little bit more, but, you know, but as the head coach, like, you have so much going on, like, you need quality assistants to be able to kind of manage guys and things day to day. And I think, you know, the guys that we had were great. I mean, you know, Coach Bass, you know, being a former Hawk, was always able to kind of relate to, like, what we were going through. You know, Coach Ross is always kind of like the cool, smooth, like, uncle, like, kind of tell you what it is. Like, hey, man, you gotta get things together. And I know, you know, for me, my guy was Coach Brady. You know, from the day I think I was like his project when I first came to St. Joe's. It was like, can we just make this kid into something? I remember, you know, walking in, maybe it was like my first week, and he gave me a tennis ball, and he was like, just dribble this tennis ball around as you're going to class. Just like little things like that. Like, yeah, it was, great. You know, dribble a tennis ball, like, to get your coordination right. Hey, like, work on your shooting. And, you know, just the time that each guy spent with me was invaluable. And I appreciate those guys.
DJ was on that toss back his whole redshirt freshman year with Coach Brady. And it's the little things. You know, we talk about the fundamentals all the time. I mean, I can say this now because DJ went on to become an NBA player, and it was because of Matt Brady. That's right. Like, little fundamentals, such as DJ just said, is in terms of the tennis ball, he made him a great player.
JB, you know, DJ talked a lot about the experience he had with those three guys then. You know, now in your role as an assistant, think back to, like, what you learned from those guys, your relationship with Mark and Coach Ross and Coach Brady, and now bring it into your world right now. what have been some of the translatable experiences or transferable experiences, excuse me, that you have taken from these three guys?
To be there, to be present, to be relatable, to communicate openly and honestly. I think it was very important, my time there, to have them, because I didn't have anyone. I was in, my family was in Virginia. And so when I needed someone, I went to them. I was in their office more than I was my dorm room. I was hanging out with the coaches, and I don't know how much that happens today, but I wanted to go there. I wanted to hang out with them. I wanted to learn what their experiences were, and I wanted to be helped through the journey. And so how I relate it to now is the same way. Most of these players that I'm dealing with today are not from Philadelphia, so they don't have their family members here. So however I can help them, however I can be open and honest with them, is because they know I have a vested interest in them being the best player that they can be.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, two things stick out to me of what you guys spoke about, JB. One, the connection, and life has gotten a little bit more complex. Hopefully now we've learned about the importance of simplification as we've been separated. So, it's one of the things I talk with our staff about all the time. It's why I went and hired a younger staff, because that relatability is important. And I don't care whether it was 2003, 2004, or 2021. It doesn't matter. People need people. And they're the same age you guys were. It's just there's more in between the coaches and the players because of social media, the phones, the easy access. People will transfer all the time. And we have to work diligently at creating those connections. And then what happens is once a player starts to feel that this guy is invested in me, this guy loves me, this guy cares about me, they actually want to be around. DJ, you talk about player development, and I remind myself all the Matt Brady and I came from the same area. We played for the same grade school coach, the great late Timmy Lenahan, who, if we practiced for 2 hours, which was probably a short one back in grade school, 75% of the practices were dedicated towards individual skills. And he kept the fire and the fuel and the passion of why you play to begin with. I say all the time, no one runs out into their driveway and practices setting screens, right? They got to have the ball in their hands. They love it. I know that Matt probably brought an incredible enthusiasm and passion for player development, and I'm hoping that we're going to do those same things here right now. This is the two of you guys together, so I want to make sure everybody knows. I don't know if the reason the Sixers turned the corner, we brought basically two players in right around the same time, Joel and Ben, but I think it was DJ and JB. I mean, that's just where I'm going with it. And I mean, do you guys ever decide, hey, man, like we flipped this thing around, like you've just won everywhere you've been? You going to take credit for that?
I'm going to say it was still Joel and Ben.
I think that's very smart.
But I think we added an element of family and togetherness to the team. We have an unbelievable relationship, and people could see that, and it's contagious.
That's right. That's right. For me, one of the things, like I grew up, this has been talked at ad nauseum, but I'll just add it. My parents are Hawks. My brother is a Hawk. Both my sister-in-laws are Hawks. Alicia worked on Hawk Hill. I grew up in South Jersey. The Big Five is in my blood. And, there was always, it was always evident to me and apparent to me that there was something different, something special about St. Joseph's. And, those 3 years that we all worked together, including Coach O'Brien, like the memories of you guys like huddled in that office, like watching the TV when St. Joseph's was on, it didn't matter which game it was. It could have been the Villanova game, but it could have been another game. And that passion kept speaking to me, and it was evident, but I never was a part of it. And, when this opportunity came to possibly be the next head coach at St. Joe's, like all of these things were like running through me. Like, yes, your parents, your brother, like that's cool. But it's another thing to like be next to it every day for basically 3 years. And I think about some of those talks we had, JB, when we would be walking the Santa Monica Pier, DJ, me asking you about your your playing career. Coach O'Brien obviously married the beautiful and wonderful and amazing Sharon O'Brien, who was Jack Ramsey's daughter, and just speaking a lot about the history of the basketball program and the passion. And I want to thank you guys because it's something that was embedded in me, and I didn't know that this was going to end up being an opportunity for me, but it helped me make a very clear and really easy decision when this opportunity presented itself. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Have you guys read this book? So you seen it?
I've seen. I think I have it. I haven't read it.
Yeah, and I don't know what you'd be doing now. I mean, you got no time. There's actually a picture of you in here, DJ. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, you know what? That's probably why I looked at
it. So it's Tales from St. Joseph's Hardwood. The Hawk Will Never Die. It's written by Jack McKinney and Robert Gordon, and Coach Martelli writes the forwards. I'm working my way through it right now, and I'm reading it almost as a history book. It's funny how many things just continue to repeat itself. But one of the pages is page 7, and Don DeJulia, who went here and coached here and was the AD here and all of those things, and he says something that I think is amazing. And he says, but when you get down to it, the place retains the same flavor it did when I was here playing basketball for Jack Ramsey in the 1960s. It must be something in the drinking water that keeps it that way. No one gets away from here unhawked. I thought that was great. And I actually can feel that on campus. So like, I'm looking at this picture because clearly after one of the many wins you guys had, and just the passion, JB, and it's more than just the program. It's and I think that's what Don is referring to here. It's more than the program. It's the place. It's Hawk Hill. It's the university. And, you're not from, Chester. You're not from South Jersey. You came from Virginia, and talk about what St. Joseph's as the university has meant for you.
Yeah, so it is. Hawk Hill is a special place. And not necessarily the buildings on campus, but what it stands for. And where I left a better man. I left a man wanting to be better for others. That has been my mantra since I left there. And so St. Joe's basketball is the same way. I want to be a better teammate. I want to be a better coach. And so the teammates who I had while playing there and, prior to and now present, I want to be better for them. And that could mean any advice, an ear, the coaching staff. It's just something about that just, I don't know. I want to kind of always be there, and I will always represent the university.
That's awesome. And, DJ, even though we talk about you being reserved and quiet, which we've all seen the other side, I see, and I'm going to end it on, this is such an amazing picture. Like, I actually have goosebumps as I'm seeing it probably for the 10th time in the last 8 hours. But, DJ, here you are engaging the fans. Okay, yes, maybe you're a little bit more reserved, a little bit more quiet, but like there's clearly you can feel the passion here. Talk to me about, same things, what has St. Joseph's as a entity, as a university, as a city, Hawk Hill, all of it meant to you for your life?
My experience at St. Joe's it was invaluable. I think daily of like the lessons. It made, like, kind of like JB said, like St. Joe's kind of helped me become a man, and like how I view my life, and just the passion, whether it was on the court or in the classroom or in the cafeteria, just the passion, the community that everybody had and shared. And like, even to this day, I could be at a store or drop my kids off at school or whatever, and there's always somebody who, hey, I went to St. Joe's. I'm class of '73, and what you guys are great, and I just want to thank you. And it's just, at the time you're just like, oh, you're just playing, you're having a good time, you're with your teammates, but then you think about like the impact that that you are able to have on other people, but the impact that St. Joe's is able to have on you it's just lifelong, and it's been great.
Yeah, that's awesome. I thank you guys for the time to do this, taking it away from your families and your duties. And please tell Al and Jess I said thank you. And just thank you for being you. You guys are, no no joke. You guys are two of my closest friends. You're two of the reasons why I wake up every day energized about this opportunity to continue to build on the foundation that has been laid here by so many great players and coaches and assistant coaches and managers, and then propel it into just such a wild world of college basketball now that's way different than when you were in it and way different than when I left it, 6 years ago. But I believe in the place because of the story of St. Joe's basketball. And as I'm reading deeper into it, it is everything that I expected it to be and more. So I thank you for you, like, not even knowing that you were instilling that passion into me, and the understanding that you gave me of how special this place is. Our guys play for you. We compete for you. You unite us. All the former players do. We're always here for you guys. I know the transition sometimes when you're jumping from different coaches and different eras can get lost, that the story is still the people. And we are here for you guys. We love you guys. I know that right now JB's thinking, well, that means send me gear. We're on it.
So that means that would mean send me and my wife, who also went to St. Joe's gear.
That's right. Hey, I know that. I'm waiting for you to bring that up. Deej, you might want to put a plug in, Deej, just so you don't get in trouble.
Oh yeah, for the wife, the boys, I can draw some sizes if you need to, but
But yeah, no, let me just say this, and I'm sure DJ feels the same way. The program is safe. I believe in you. And I'm sure the rest of my teammates, I don't want to speak for them, but DJ and I believe in you. You are one of my closest friends, like you said, and so I love St. Joe's. But I thank you. I thank you so much for being just who you are. You're not only a great coach, but you're a great person. And I can't say that enough. It's an amazing place, and I don't want to digress a little bit too much, but we both met our wives there. And let me go back to that, because I didn't get a chance to say that. Think about it. My life would not be the same if I hadn't gone to St. Joe's. My life would not be the same. I wouldn't have met my wife. DJ wouldn't have met his wife. And look, I thank God every day for the moment Mark Bass came down to Woodbridge, Virginia to see me play. That's enough. I'll shut up.
Yeah, and I also kind of want to second it, kind of like JB said, and I agree with everything you said. I mean, the program's in great hands, and watching from a distance and getting a chance to, I'm thinking about it right now, being able to sit in that gym and see you guys pull off that amazing win this year. There, it was great, and just I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is St. Joe's, this is St. Joe's. And just the way you guys compete, we're not going to talk about wins and losses, but just the spirit of St. Joe's is alive. And, I just want to thank you, Coach, from the bottom of my heart. I mean, you're building something that's going to be great. And, being, a friend and, being a mentor to me, I just appreciate, I just want to thank you for, taking on the challenge of carrying on the Hawk Hill tradition.
It's an honor. It's truly the greatest professional honor I've ever had. So thank you, guys. I love you guys.
Love you too.
All right, fly some kites, run some stairs. DJ, don't get so bored that you start playing for money in the Monopoly. You've been in that pro world. You start stealing from Dylan and little DJ. That's going to be some problems over there. I love you guys.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Love you too, Coach. Yes, sir.
See you, fellas.
See you, Coach.